Hello, everyone. Thank you for your interest in our research. My name is Andrew Hine. I'm the co-founder of an Aussie data ownership startup, Reputationaire. I apologize because Angela, who would do a much better job of presenting the research than me, is unavailable. So I'm afraid you're stuck with me. I'm just a techie co-founder. I'll give you a bit of history around why we did this research. Our Aussie startup started 6 years ago because my co-founder wasn't able to rent an apartment in Melbourne. Not because she didn't have a job, not because she didn't have money, not because she didn't have rental references, but because she didn't have any local rental references. So her Indian rental references were just put in a too hard bucket by Melbourne estate agents, unfortunately. So after 6 weeks of being rejected from leases, she decided to print out her Airbnb reviews as a guest and gave those to the estate agent. And I got her a rental. So from that, we realized that people presumably have massive proof of trustworthiness, and also kind of job skills. For the techies in the audience, you can see GitHub and Stack Overflow, which are code repositories and technical question forums, and also their soft skills. Like, for example, people on Airbnb who are ranked highly on Airbnb are presumably quite trustworthy and reliable and friendly, and that kind of thing. So yes, that's why we founded Reputationaire, to allow individuals to overcome lack of local references, lack of local work experience, lack of local credit scores, and fundamental lack of trust. And it's been shown that these disadvantages affect those from diverse backgrounds more, because obviously if they have migrated countries, for example, they obviously don't have any local references, local work experience, or local credit score. So it's obviously a struggle to fast track that trust and proof of, like I said, job and soft skills, which is what Aussie startups trying to do. So what you're looking at now is a screenshot of one of our users' reputation vaults, we call it. So they've chosen to prove ownership using our provisional patent funded by RMIT University of their profiles on any website, so not just the socials. So you can see this person has verified Airbnb, eBay, etc. And we then, once they proved they own that profile, we then extract the public metadata and also use a big data ranking to kind of give some context. So it's important to note we don't provide an overall ranking score. You can see this person is in the top 7% of personal hosts and guests on Airbnb. Also verified 5 forms of ID on Airbnb. So probably have these soft skills, obviously probably quite good communication and interpersonal skills, but nowhere you'll find an overall ranking about individuals, and nowhere you'll find their personal information. So it's all done ignoring race, gender, age, and that kind of thing, designed to purposely try to reduce human biases as much as possible. So when we were selling Reputationaire to local Aussie businesses, one of the pushbacks we had was that the employers and the estate agents and the financial service providers didn't necessarily believe that people's online behavior reflected their real world personality. So we set out on a research project to try to prove that. Trying to prove if people's online content reflects their real personality. Because I think in the digital age we live in, it's important that people should be able to prove ownership of their data and use that to their advantage. Like I said, to overcome lack of local references, work experience, credit scores, or fundamentally trust. which we know affects those from more diverse backgrounds more than locals. So we started our research paper into that topic. We couldn't find much research had been done on other than on the socials. Obviously, a lot of surveys have been done and research has been done on Facebook and Twitter about likes and that kind of thing. But we want to look a bit deeper and see if people's online content and their profiles can be a good indicator of their personality, or as some people suspect, it can just be completely faked and that kind of thing. I'll take you through the key highlights. So what we did was we talked to 300 and something applicants, and we invited them to optionally choose to provide their public online profiles. So we looked at Twitter, Stack Overflow, which is the technical question and answer form, Reddit, which is obviously a question and answer form, and LinkedIn, so people's LinkedIn articles, if they had any, obviously, or posts. So we then had that body of work that an individual had written themselves. And we then also invited, at the same time, we invited them if they'd like to complete a 50 question standard Big Five ocean quiz to get those Big Five standard traits. So we then used NLP to compare the results they got from their test, their Big Five quiz, with their NLP Big Five traits, which came from the public content they had provided. So when we filtered it down to those who had a good amount of content to provide an accurate measurement from the NLP, that was 101 individuals. And doing that, we found there was a statistically significant, small but positive correlation between two traits, in particular conscientiousness and also extroversion, and a little small one in openness. So it's been proven that people who, by other studies, people who have high conscientiousness, for example, generally make better employees, because obviously they're presumably more conscientious about their work and doing a good job. So yeah, that's about it. I'll quickly show you a few more details about what we did. Again, this version is our startups branded copy, because obviously we're hoping that once organizations realize that allowing individuals to supply their online data if they choose to, just as an additional data point. So it's not, we don't recommend using it to replace employment assessment tests, and obviously credit scores and that kind of thing, but giving people the opportunity, especially those from more diverse backgrounds, to provide it as an optional additional data point where they choose to, I think can only add value both for the individual, like my co-founder who couldn't get a rental in Melbourne, but also the organization, because a lot of organizations that I've spoken to have told me that they want to hire more diversity, for example, but it's difficult because obviously those applicants from diverse backgrounds don't have local references, don't have local work experience. So it's hard to obviously assess them, especially when they fill in the application form. They might not have the best CV in the world or the best LinkedIn profile, which is where recruiters apparently spend their time. So additional data point could really help these organizations spot diamond in the rough applicants who I've heard they otherwise skip over in 6 seconds. So here's a bit more detail about our methodology. Obviously, privacy protection was very important. It was optional to take part in the survey. And as a thank you to those who did, they all got a copy of their, it was like about 5 pages of their Big 5 report generated just from their NLP results, from their content, as a way to help them understand how they may be perceived online from the way they write and the language they use. These were the demographics. Obviously, we did this in Australia, so you can see Australia obviously had the highest count of participants. And then we use various correlation models to look for correlations in, like I said, the Big 5 traits, which came from their submitted standard quiz, and the Big 5 traits, which were generated from their public content they had written. Great. I think that's about everything. Thank you for your time and interest. And obviously, I'm available digitally if anyone has any questions. Great. Thank you. Goodbye.